Alright, hi everybody, it's AskMsKayson here, and in this video I am giving you everything you need to know about sequences. So, first of all, here's our definition. Sequence is an ordered list of numbers. So, a sequence can either be geometric, arithmetic, both, or neither. So, remember that a geometric sequence has a common multiplier. So that means that to get from one term to the next, you would multiply by the same number. And arithmetic would be you were either adding or subtracting the same number to get the next term of the sequence. Same thing with geometric, it could also be division. So here's an example. So first look at this sequence. The first thing I always look for is there a common difference? So I think 2 to 4.5, that has a difference of 2.5. And then from 4.5 to 7, that's another difference of 2.5, and another difference of 2.5. So then I can conclude that this is an arithmetic sequence, and the sequence generator is 2.5. Alright, so these numbers, the 2, 4.5, 7, 9.5. These are what we call the sequence terms. So 2 is the first term of the sequence. Whatever term is listed first, that is our first term. These values here are called T of n. They are outputs. So each sequence term can be given a number, n. So the first value of the sequence is 2, the second value of the sequence is 4.5, and we can actually put this in a table to organize that information. Term number is n, and the values in our sequence are called T of n. And our first term was 2. Our second term was 4.5. Our third term was 7, and our fourth term was 9.5. This is helpful when graphing a sequence, and just like people in a line, there's a first person and a second person and a third person. There is no person 2.5 in a line. So it's a similar situation for our sequence values. There isn't a 2.5 term. So when we're graphing, remember that we want our graph to be discrete, meaning we're not connecting our points. So also when we're graphing, we can think of our n values as our x values, and T of n, this entire expression here, is similar to y. Keep watching if you are interested in writing an explicit and recursive equation for this sequence, and I can show you how to find term numbers and sequence values. Okay, so here's our sequence again, and we're going to go ahead and write an explicit equation. So our explicit equation uses what we call the 0th term. That is the term that would be before the first term if we went one step before that. So we're going to call this T of n is equal to, and this equation is very similar to y equals mx plus b. It's very similar to a linear equation. So we know that our sequence generator is 2.5. So we have 2.5 times n plus our 0th term. Because if we use our first term, then when we plug in a value for n, it will be off by 1. So we have to think, what number would we have added 2.5 to get 2? Working backwards, that would give us negative 0.5. And we can go ahead and check. So we know that if we want to use n equals 1, then we should get an output of 2. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's say we're checking T of 1. So if n equals 1, we would get 2.5 times 1 plus negative 0.5. So T of 1 should equal 2.5 plus negative 0.5. And that does give us 2. So we know that our equation is correct. So this is our explicit equation. Okay, let's go ahead and make our recursive equation. For our recursive equation, what we have to remember is there are 2 parts. The first part is the starting place. So in order to write a recursive equation, we need to know where the equation starts. So our first term is 2, so we're going to write t of 1 equals 2. So that tells us where the equation will start. Then we need to describe how does the equation grow. So the recursive part is describing how do we get from t of n to t of n plus 1. So we know that if we take any value in the sequence, which is t of n, and if we add 2.5 to that, we are going to get the term that is 1 more than that, which is why we have t of n plus 1. Okay, and there we have it. This is our recursive equation. Okay, don't forget to ask me if there's anything that you're still unsure of about sequences. Let me know in the comments below, or ask me in class.